Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tarleton State University Spring 2021 White Coat Ceremony. My name is Dr. Renee Othament, and I serve as the interim department head for the School of Nursing. I'm delighted that you could join us for this special occasion and wanted to let you know what this is all about here today. Our primary purpose today is to welcome our first semester students into the nursing profession. Nursing is one of the most trusted professions in the United States, and it has been for years. This year in 2021, the Gallup poll announced once again that Americans feel that nursing is the most honest, ethical profession in the United States, and we stand proud. Therefore, we are excited to have the privilege to share this special occasion with you and your family. At this time, I would like to recognize those joining me on the stage today. They have all been integral in contributions and efforts for our students' success. If you would, stand while I call your name. Mrs. Brooke Beatty, Program Director of the LVN to BSN in Waco. Dr. Gary Woods, Assistant Professor for the School of Nursing. Dr. Mary Winton, Associate Professor for the School of Nursing. And Dr. Samantha Pale, Associate Professor for the School of Nursing. I would also like to recognize and thank all of our faculty and staff who have put your best interest in mind, and our faculty are sitting on the front. Their commitment and expertise will help guide you through this journey. Thanks again for joining us. At this time, I would like to welcome Dr. Woods to the stage.
The Gold Foundation established the White Coat Ceremony in 1993. The iconic ritual provides an important emphasis on compassionate, collaborative, and scientifically excellent care from the very first day of training. Intended initially for first-year students in medical programs, the White Coat Ceremony has evolved to include nursing and physician assistant programs. It is a rite of passage that often takes place during the initial days of orientation. It serves to welcome students to healthcare practice and elevates the value of compassion and care as the core of healthcare. It provides a powerful emphasis on that compassion in combination with scientific excellence. The first White Coat Ceremony took place in 1993 at Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. At the time, Dr. Arnold Gold was a professor of clinical neurology and professor of clinical pediatrics there. He realized that something was needed. The Gold Foundation then instituted the White Coat Ceremony as a way to emphasize compassion and care in medicine at the very start of medical education. Then in 2014, recognizing the vital role that nurses play in the healthcare team, the Gold Foundation partnered with the American Association of Colleges of Nursing to adopt a White Coat Ceremony for nursing. More than 360 schools of nursing now participate, and the number continues to grow. In the spring of 2019, the School of Nursing at Tarleton State University received a grant from the Gold Foundation to establish the White Coat Ceremony to be held during the first semester of the nursing program. The most important element of the ceremony is the oath that students take in front of family members, school leadership, and their peers to acknowledge their central obligation of providing ethical, evidence-based care for the patient with empathy, social justice, advocacy, and respect for the dignity of every human. Students, welcome to the profession of nursing. It is a high calling. It requires much, but gives so much more. I'd like to recognize Dr. Mary Winton as she comes to the podium. Thank you.
Nursing is both a science and art. Students, you have experienced little of the science these past 2 semesters. Science is fairly easy to determine. After all, one gathers facts to test a hypothesis, and it is no different in nursing. But art, the art of nursing is what puts the humanistic touch in the profession of nursing. It is why many of you are here today, because you want to help people, insomuch that you want to understand and treat people as a person to help, to care, and to support not just your patients, but also their families, friends, and caregivers. You will care for patients that test the best of you, and patients that you absolutely adore. And there will be some who just tug at your heart. It is those patients that you will forever remember and will learn the most from. It is those patients that remind you why you are becoming a nurse. I remember early in my nursing career, several patients that have tugged at my heart, and I will never forget those memories. Also, during this COVID pandemic, I have seen and heard many patients that have spent their time in the hospital without visitors, without families, without friends. That reminds me of one of my patients years ago. Years ago, there was this particular patient that seemed to come into the hospital admitted at least once a month, and this patient would stay in the hospital for several days. Over some time period, I noticed that this patient never had families, never had friends come visit. Never. And over time, there would be nurses that would say, I do not want to take care of this patient. Somebody else do. And so, yes, we took care of taking care of this particular patient. We would teach this patient on lifestyles, on what this person can do to potentially decrease the number of admissions. But there was this one particular admit where this patient came in, and I knew this patient would not survive. This patient lingered for several days and nights, and still no families, no friends, no chaplain, no children, nobody. And I see this patient lingering, just lingering. And finally, I took the time in my busy schedule to be at the bedside. I held this patient's hand in my hand, and I told this patient, it's okay to let go. I will not leave you while you depart. It is okay to go. Now, this patient has lingered for many days, and within the hour, I can see the face being calm. I can see that the respiratory rate is not as labored. I see a tear coming down her eyes. And this patient left. This patient went home. This patient just needed that humanistic touch to let them know that somebody is there for them. And sometimes that is all it takes to make that person's day, whether they're coming into the world or whether they're leaving the world. So, nursing is more than passing pills, emptying bedpans, reviewing labs, or even inserting tubes. It's about being there when the patient needs you the most. It's about having the strength and the knowledge to care for your patients when you least feel like it. In all the hecticness during your shifts, remember why you entered into one of the greatest professions, which is nursing. God bless in who you are and all that you do. I'd like to introduce now Dr. Pell, who will be presenting the white coats and the pins, and then doing the closing remarks.
Bless you. Hello, I am the infamous Dr. Pale. I am the instructor that is responsible for your student chasing you around with a stethoscope, asking to listen to your heart and listen to your lungs, and could you please stick your tongue out? So I just had a few things I wanted to say before we don the coats, and sorry, I get nervous. You wouldn't think that I would after doing this for so long, but I still do. In closing, I wanted to say a few words about the challenge of professional education and the training of the students that have taken place and that your students are undertaking at this point in their lives. Nursing is a profession that requires an in-depth understanding and ability to transfer science into caring. The preparation our students undergo is not only intellectual, but also physical, emotional, and spiritual. It requires a metamorphosis. And with metamorphosis can come pain. This transition touches every part of their being, and it can be scary. Why am I telling you this? Because we need your help. We need the help of all those out there that support people for these students. We need you in the next 2 years. We need you to stand strong with us to help us and your student transition into a strong, intelligent, caring, bold professional. It's going to take all of us to support and encourage, reassure, and sometimes redirect your student to keep them on this professional path. So, students, can you now stand? And don your coats. Okay, now could I get you to pick up your program and turn to the back? And the nurse, encourage any other nurses in this audience, you can join in with us, but this is for the nursing students. Please recite with me the Tarleton Nursing Pledge. In full knowledge of the obligations I am undertaking, I promise to care for the sick, alleviate the suffering, and promote health with all the skills and understanding I possess, without regard to race, color, creed, politics, or social status. I will respect at all times the dignity and religious beliefs of the patients under my care, hold in confidence all personal information entrusted to me, and refrain from any actions which might endanger the life or health. I will constantly endeavor to increase my knowledge and skills in nursing, to use them wisely. I will do all in my power to maintain and alleviate the standard of my profession and elevate. I will give support and cooperation to all members of the healthcare team, but will devote myself to the welfare of my patients. I will endeavor to fulfill my rights and privileges as a good citizen and assume my share of responsibility in promoting the health and welfare of the global community. Congratulations, everybody. And I now thank everyone for coming, and I would ask that you please exit immediately. Don't congregate around the exits for COVID safety. We're trying to maintain social distancing. Congratulations, everybody, and please let's give an applause to all of our students. Woo!